Welcome and thank you for joining us for the Lessons in Leadership webinar series focused on leading change in dynamic environments. My name is Erin Forey. I'll be your moderator for today's talk entitled Behind the Evidence, Supporting Mental Health and Morale. I'm joined by our presenter, Cheryl Carrero, Deputy Director of Forensic Biology and DNA Tech Lead with the Connecticut Division of Scientific Services. Without further delay, I will hand things to you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Erin. Okay, hello everyone. Again, my name is Cheryl Carrero. I'm the Deputy Director of Forensic Biology and DNA, and I'm also the DNA Technical Leader. I've been in Connecticut at this lab for close to 18 years. I've been through all steps of different positions here, but my main focus has always been in forensic DNA and quality management. And my presentation today, is going to have a couple of learning objectives. And one is to understand strategies to address workplace challenges. I've experienced in my time here being in management, practical approaches to help with stress, burnout, communication barriers that have always been a problem in forensic labs from my experience, and fostering a really great community with your employees and with each other in the lab as a whole, to have a great workforce. Another objective I have is enhancing the employee engagement and recognition, which is extremely important in forensic labs. And I'm hopefully going to talk and maybe possibly give you some ideas on how to make your employees feel valued, because that is so important. They're not just manufacturing line workers. They actually have a passion to do this, and having people feel valued in their job is so great for productivity, for a lack of absenteeism, and just for overall morale in the entire lab. The third objective is to promote a culture of mental health and well-being, and to have that in your mind when you're managing or you're an employee at a laboratory, and you want to just have that supportive environment around you to be like, I love my job. It gets hard at sometimes. We see terrible things, but in the end, this is your career and you want to be happy in your career. So this is going to be probably something you all know. Forensics is a high stress environment. Deadlines, caseloads, you have rushes coming in, you have DAs, prosecutors calling and says, I actually need you in court at 1 o'clock today, when it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. Very stressful at some points. And also with the amount of cases, and if you have backlogs, rush requests, your analysts and yourselves as managers too may get burnt out. And you get so burnt out that sometimes you throw up your hands, I wave the white flag, I can't do this anymore, and you just go into a state of, this is just a job for me, I don't enjoy this anymore. And there's also been, and I've experienced this personally, communication gaps between management and staff. And I've started here as a lab technician, and I've moved myself all the way up into a deputy director. But I've seen the contrast between communications of how maybe it used to be to what that it is now. And hopefully I can share some ideas with you as well. So to start, practical approaches to mitigate stress and burnout. There are wellness programs that are available. We have EAP Solutions, which is a place that we can call. We can have them come in and talk. They have therapists. There's different types of things that these kind of mental health solution companies can do for you. And Connecticut uses EAP Solutions, for instance, and we've had people come to the lab and talk to the employees about how forensic affects them mentally. Another thing is that we always, in my experience here, encourage breaks, and we try our best not to overload people. We are very open communication with our staff. I don't picture them as employees. I picture them, all of us, as a team in forensic biology and DNA, and we all work together, and we're all human, and we all have things going outside of work at times. And so we really try, and when I say we, I have a deputy director also works with me. Her name is Sevi Papakanakis. She's probably on this webinar, but we both try to foster that we are here to be here to help you with your job and make you the best forensic analyst that you can be. The third thing is very fun to me because we implemented flexible scheduling and remote work. COVID, we had to find ways to be able to telework, and we are able to continue that. Use of Adobe Pro and many different strategic ways to be able to get all accreditation standards completed, but being able to have analysts work up to 2 days a week at home. And there's management ways that we can be able to make sure that what they're doing is productive. And so far, since 2020, it has been, because I think the analysts that we have in this lab, in general, in the whole lab, whatever discipline you are in, have shown to be productive, and they are happy to have this, and they don't want to lose that opportunity. So it's easy. It's like, do the job. You can be at home in your pajamas on a couch, but just do the work that you're supposed to be doing. And flexible scheduling. Some people work 10-hour days 4 times a week and have a regular day off during the week. We're open to that because, again, we're human. We have other things outside of work that we need to be there for. And so we're open to hearing that. And as long as it's operationally okay, we typically approve it. So communication. It's very important to not lose track as a manager to keep open communication between you and your staff and the analysts or examiners of any discipline in a laboratory themselves, to keep open communications about things. We want to make sure that you have communications. You either have ways to have Teams meetings, or you have personal meetings with one-on-one or in groups frequently. You don't want to do twice a year and have a lab meeting with your groups. That's not enough. That gives people an option to say, we don't know what's going on. I didn't know that this was happening. Like, didn't, and that's part of the mental health. You don't want that to occur in your laboratory if you want people to be happy and morale is up. So meetings, communication, is also important to have workshops or trainings, webinars for having the leaders, the leads, the supervisors, the managers, to be able to learn how to listen to people and to not think of them as an employee, to actually realize they're human too, and keep open communication, and foster that type of relationship. And you can be trained to do that. Not everybody has this coming naturally to them that they can do that. And sometimes you need a little help, need a little education on that type of stuff, subjects. Fostering transparency, again, like I said, you want to make sure that you let everybody know these are the decisions. And what's really important, I think personally, is when you make a decision that's a huge decision that really will affect multiple people or multiple disciplines, give the reasons why. Don't say we're changing this and that's it. Why are you doing this? Like, why? And sometimes employees don't want to ask a manager, why are they doing this? And so it's better for you to be upfront with everybody, saying, we thought about it, and this is what we're going to change, and this is why. So this is one of my favorite things that I personally do for the morale in our laboratory. I think it's very important for everybody to feel valued, and it increases your motivation. You're more productive. People want to work. They feel like they're part of a community. They don't feel this is a job. They feel like it's a career, and you have your people with you. And as long as the longer you stay at one laboratory, the more, cohesive of a group you have. And so you don't want high turnover rates. You want people to stay because they'll get better and better and better as the years go on. So what I do, and Sevi, who's also deputy, but a lot of people in our laboratory and management do this as well. We implement regular one-on-one check-ins. It's informal. Catch them in the hallway. Hey, when you have a couple minutes, stop by. I want to see how things are going. Just foster those type of relationships with your people to listen more so than talk, listen to them. This is my number one, is involving staff in decision-making processes. I am the DNA technical leader, and obviously for QAS, I have to make the final decision with my director, of what we're going to do in DNA and technical operations. But before I make any decisions, I bring in a team of analysts that come. We have a full meeting. We talk about it. We throw around ideas because I know I'm not perfect. I don't think of everything. There's one person will be like, "Hey, did you think about this if you do that?" Oh my goodness, no. And we talk and we come to a conclusion where the majority of people, you're never going to make everybody happy, but the majority of people are on board. But you give the opportunity for people to share their opinions and share what they're thinking about what you want to change, instead of going right to my boss and saying, "Hey, we're going to change this," and that's it. I feel personally as a manager that is extremely important and what I want to do to foster a great morale within my group. Create team building activities to strengthen relationships. So our lab, like we do, since the 2013, we had change in management, and Dr. Valero is our director now. Guy Valero, he used to work at Mass State Police and worked at UMass, and he's very involved in making this lab a good place to work. So some of the things that we've done over the years with the entire lab, we've done chili cook-offs, and I mean, taking a couple hours a day in the grand scheme of things for having team building exercises. I mean, it's more important to have your employees happy and your management happy. So we've done chili cook-offs, we've done soup cook-offs, we had hot dog roasts. We do Forensic Science Week. We have a huge week where we bring in people to talk, our governor level. We give presentations to the public and attorneys to come in and see everything that we're doing. Forensic Science Week was a great success this year. Christmas activities or holiday activities, we have each section set up tables and they put little treats out, and we all take time to walk around and just intermingle with one another. And I think these little things that may take a little bit of time out of casework really, really add up in the end to have a great workforce and to be feeling almost like, for lack of a better word, family-like in a sense in your laboratory. And that's what we go for. We want it to be a great place to work, and we want people to stay here and love it. And so we try our best within what we can do, because number one is making sure there's no backlogs, making sure that the cases get out right and correct, and quality assurance. So we all have that up front, but we also have a little, back of the house type of thing saying, hey, we got to keep morale going. So why does mental health matter in forensic labs? Well, it's pretty obvious, and I'm sure you all know. Emotional well-being for anything in life, affects you. So in a lab, when you're working in a forensic lab and you see all this crazy things and these evil people in the world doing horrible things, but you like what you do, it's going to increase your productivity. It's going to make you pay attention more and not be on autopilot when you're making decisions in your own casework. You're going to have leads and managers that you can approach and not be worried to ask a question. A positive culture reduces absenteeism and morale overall. You want to keep it positive because we work with a lot of crazy things, and you all know that as being in the forensic discipline. So actionable steps to prioritize mental health. Again, we have EAP, but I'm sure there's other companies out there, but we always make sure that our staff and ourselves, we all know that there is a place that we can call, email, have meetings with. We can bring people in to provide that resource for anyone who needs it. It's not mandatory. It's just a suggestion that it's an opportunity to try to help you. And you got to understand, mental health is very important. In my own experience, I've been through mental health issues in some way or somehow. And it's important to normalize that, because we're all humans and we all have feelings and we all have times of things going outside of work that really affect us at work. and we are able to go to our manager because we have open communication, say, hey, the past couple of weeks have been really, really bad for me. Is there anything I can do that's not in the lab so that I can just focus on the work I have to do that won't make me possibly mess up because I'm thinking of everything else. And another thing is, to train management and leaders to recognize the changes in behavior of someone that might be going through something. This person is usually always walking by and says hi, or this person is always, smiling and talking in the hallways to just say hello to people and how you're doing. And then all of a sudden, you notice there's no more walking by, there's no more hellos, they're very quiet. You got to pay attention to those changes in behavior because could be something to going on in their lives, and you don't want to force them to share with you, but you need to be cognizant of it. You need to have it in the back of your head in case there is an opportunity that comes up that that person wants to talk. And you want to see in your own way how you can possibly help them without having to make them feel like they have to share, because they don't. They don't need to tell you anything. But in your way of fostering a great communication in your laboratory, they will feel comfortable more so to come and talk to you. So building a supportive environment, make sure you promote work-life balance through your policies and resources. Encourage peer support groups, mentorship programs, align leadership practices with core values of empathy and respect. We've all experienced where somebody in a job has probably been very strong, firm, seems like they don't care, but they're not unprofessional. They're just doing their job, and they don't have that emotion with it. And some people are like that, and you have to understand and deal with that. But amongst your peers, amongst other people, there's definitely ways that you can bond and have a relationship with others that is positive. And I know for myself, I work a lot. I have 2 kids, and and a husband, and 4 dogs, and a cat. But anyway, um, I work a lot, and I think most of my time of my life right now is mostly here or home working on my laptop. And I have to make time for my kids. And I realized that, last year I said, you know what, this year I'm going to make sure that I have time for myself with my kids and my husband and make it work. And you find those spaces when you really want to. And you want to align your leadership in your lab to have those types of thoughts about the people, that they need to have a work-life balance that allow that to happen. But at the same time, keep in mind productivity and casework and everything else that makes a lab function, because our number one job is forensics and to do the casework we need to do. So I talked a lot about what managers can do and leads can do, and that, but as far as employees and things that you can do as just employees in a group in a discipline, have conversations with people about your achievements. Talk to your leaders about it. They might not know. They may not know if you did this in court and they told you you did an awesome job explaining X, Y, and Z. If you feel you did a great job, go to your manager and say, hey, I did this, you reviewed it. What do you have any feedback? Accept constructive criticism, because that only makes you better. Constructive criticism isn't to be like, you did this wrong, you're terrible. No, it's to build you, and it's to build you to make you a better overall employee, a better forensic scientist. In like yourselves of employees taking out a management, collaborate with each other. Maybe make a bowling after work bowling get together, or group of people are going to go out to dinner and have some drinks, and just bonds when you can. I mean, I know everybody's crazy and that time is very important and you have your family and all that, but once in a while it's nice. We used to have kickball here and softball, bowling, and it was nice to see the people in the different disciplines all get together, get along, and have fun. Because again, forensics is, we don't see the best things. And as employees, advocate for workplace improvements. We have a spreadsheet that we have open that our analysts in DNA, but other sections, they could put in, possible motivational things they want to do or suggestions that changes in the policy and procedure. And we look at those and we take each one, and every month or so, we would go in a group and say, hey, we heard this, we this question came up, and we'll address them with the group and we'll talk about it. So as employees, I would not just stay quiet. I would definitely advocate for you and your peers to say how, and be honest, and to say how, the morale's really, don't attack, but the morale's not that great here. Do you think we could do X, Y, and Z to possibly improve it? Have honest conversations. That's always, and don't approach it as a negative. Just, it is what it is. And that is it. So I hope I gave some ideas for you, and a lot probably you already knew. But I thought it was great that Erin and everybody put these type of little talks together to just get the word out amongst people in this community, and to see if we can help other forensic scientists alike, and to be better to each other and be better in this career, because it is a great career and it's not just a job, and it shouldn't be just a job.
Thank
So
you,
Erin, I
Cheryl.
am finished.
Thank you so much. We have a lot of questions,
Oh,
so
we
I'm
do?
going to try to group
Okay.
them together.
Can I unshare, or what do you want me to do?
I think Patrick can help you out a little bit. But we just have a little bit of time left. So can you share a little bit about the policies or what ways that you're aligning the leadership practices with empathy and respect?
The respect, right. I believe that a lot of the things is detected through change in behavior. We have policies that we always suggest EAP when we see somebody struggling, and that's one of the basic things we have to do as management, is say, hey, I see that you're struggling. I'm not asking you why, but this is available for you if you need it. And that's a policy throughout the state. I think here at Connecticut Lab, our policies are basically like to try to always improve somebody. You see somebody struggling, you see somebody making some mistakes that they shouldn't be making. It's not normal. Address it and work with them to make them better, and try to figure out ways to improve them, instead of looking at it like, well, you just keep messing up, so we're just gonna, stop you from doing everything. Um, then it might come to that with some individuals, but as a whole, if people are going through things, it's important to recognize that, there are things you can do to possibly help them, but you need that open communication, and that there's no fear in what reaction I'm going to have with that individual. Like, they can come to me, I'm approachable, and I make sure I'm like that, because I wouldn't want someone to be afraid to come talk to me and then keep all these questions that they have and the reasons why they're making mistakes a secret. So that's very important here with us.
We have a few questions about how you're balancing the productivity with all of these extra activities. How are
Mhm.
you funding the extra activities? And we
Mhm.
could probably have a whole talk on your backlog, but let everyone know a little bit about what your backlog is and how
Sure,
you do that.
no problem. We back in 2011, 2012, we had a 6,000 case backlog. We had a lot of problems. If you look up, you can Google it. Connecticut was in a big problem. But anyway, we got Dr. Valero in 2013, and one of his priorities is to get. That's why he got hired, to help get back that 6,000 case backlog. And through hard work, perseverance, understanding how to do it, and learning, we now have basically almost 90% of our cases done within under 30 days. Definitely under 60 days. Sexual assault kits are done within 2 weeks. The reason why is because of strategic planning on, for instance, in DNA, and that's what my expertise is on. But Sevi and I and some of the experienced analysts work together to find out streamlined ways to get things done, have rotations, do batch processing. I mean, I could go on and on about how we mitigated our backlog. New technologies, liquid handling. And so you guys asked about funding. In some instances, we get a little bit sometimes of money to put towards activities. They're not done weekly. I mean, these things are, every year we have the chili cook-off. Every May we have the hot dog roast. It's a couple hours out of all that time. And if we don't have a budget for it, we try to figure out ways to pay for it, or we do potlucks and we have people bring in things, and the cost is less. And sometimes we as managers pitch in a little bit of money. I would rather have happy employees working pro- the productivity be up than me just giving $40 to have a hot dog or buy a dessert for something. And I know that's not an opportunity maybe for everybody, but those are the things here. They're not that much time taken away from productivity, because if we didn't have a backlog, which I believe case-wise right now, if you look at the whole backlog, under 500 cases, and we were from 6,000 down to under 500 with a turnaround time less than 60 days. We did some accomplishments, and so we're able to do new things. We're able to validate new things. We started a crime scene rapid DNA program. We did gun intelligence, where we're getting all the leads together in one document. There's things that you can do to improve your lab when you have a handle on your productivity. And I really could do a whole nother talk on productivity, but that's the basis of what we do.
And quickly, how many people are in your laboratory altogether?
A little over 100.
And
DNA is probably about 40. And then we're
so,
a full service lab. We have seven
right.
or eight disciplines.
And that it brings me to my next question. With remote work, are all the disciplines permitted to do remote work, or what tasks are they allowed to do remotely?
So the state implemented a telework policy for the entire state. So it's dependent on what your specific job duties are. And so not everybody gets to telework. But we have standard telework, or we have situational telework. And so standard are the people that, like, our DNA analysts can telework, because everything analysis and all that we VPN right into our desk computers, so we can do a lot at home with that. Some of the people that we just having bench work cannot telework, because they can't do the bench work at home or their garage. But situationally, if something happens, maybe we can find something to have them do at home, because they have something crazy going on outside of work, and we can help that. So that's why we have situational for those kind of cases. It's not like every 2 day, like these 2 days every week this person's teleworking, but if something came up and they need it, we'll work with them to try to figure it out.
And I know that you guys focus very heavily on productivity and data at your lab.
Yes,
And
very
have
much.
you been able to measure and see an impact in productivity, whether up or down, with these flexible work arrangements?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just amazing to me when you give people the opportunity to feel a little more freedom, and to feel valued, and to feel like that what they say is taken into consideration and can make improvements to the laboratory. I mean, we're all happy here, honestly, like, especially in the DNA unit with Sevi and I and all of our team. We have time to laugh, and we have time to talk, but we all know that we have a very important job to do, and we get it done, and we put the time in that's needed to get it done. And everybody's willing to help each other. It's an amazing phenomenon to have your workforce with you be on the same page and be a team. And it's amazing what you can get done. And I mean, specifically for my lab in general, there's so many things that we have done that I have ran out of time to talk to you about.
And we are at the end of our webinar today. And for those, if we didn't get to your questions, please reach out to Cheryl. I know that she is a person that you can reach out to with questions, and she will talk with you and help you for sure.
Absolutely. I'm
Please,
very open. I'm very open. I'm not, I'm very approachable. So you can ask me whatever you want.
and for those of you still here, please feel free to let us know in the chat if this is a topic that you would like to have more education about, and maybe even other topics that you would like to have more education about with respect to leadership and management. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Thank you, everyone that's here today. We really appreciate you for being here, Cheryl. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much for listening to me.
As you depart, we kindly ask that you take a minute or two to complete our post-event questionnaire. The link will be pasted in the chat and also appear as you exit the Zoom room. Your feedback helps us improve our outreach efforts and continue to provide the best experience possible. Thank you again for attending, and we hope everyone has a great day.